And this is Dabu 7, some underground world news. And I love the fact you love the music there. I Stay High, 187. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Joined here by B. Rich, Erick M, and it looks like Casey will not be joining us tonight, but next week we look to have the show over on his channel. So once again, I want to thank everybody that showed up here tonight, everybody to chat. And yeah, quite a few different things here to talk about. First off here, see if I can get the screen share to work. How you guys doing tonight, B, Erick?
Almost food time.
About that time, huh?
Yeah, waiting for it to get done so I can pick it up.
I want to start off here real quick with the update to the inauguration and what they're saying here. I know we talked about protests going down up there. A lot of people that are expecting to be up at this place for this inauguration, but they're saying at this point, they're shutting down a lot of the area in which people think they're going to be going to, including the Lincoln Memorial. They're also saying other historic DC sites are going to be off limits at this time, but they're not being specific as to which ones. But they're saying that this foils the plan for a women's march on the mall expected to draw over 100,000 people. So I'm not, apparently this is going to stifle a lot of people's plans that were expecting to go up here and rally or mount up in certain places. They're going to be off limits. So now, in terms of DC and Trump, we also talked about how, well, pretty much his family is going to be staying in NYC during the school year, and they're going to have to protect that tower. They had requested some 30-some million to protect them, and they only granted like seven or eight, something like that. But I thought that was pretty interesting because they're not even supplying the funding that they're saying that they need for the protection to keep them safe there. But once again, links in the description box for all these stories. And another story here, this was put out over on iCitizen. This is talking about Washington State suing Monsanto over omnipresent and toxic material. So, look, we've talked about Monsanto over and over again across the globe, from here to Ukraine and back. All the things they've done with GMOs, and not only that, they've been told there's strict guidelines for what they do because you cannot contaminate other crops. And we've seen here in the United States that very thing happen many different times, where I think the most recent was Pacific Northwest, where farmers were complaining that they had GMO stuff in their crops, and it was because of them and what they're doing. But let me see here. It looks like Watchers, I'm not sure if he was trying to get in there or not. If you're having difficulty, let me know, brother. No, I'm just reading through the story here about these PCBs here for a second. And this is out of Washington State in Seattle. This is the same neck of the woods. So these people up here have seen issues, and they have gone after them, suing them. I mean, if people don't get up off their tail and do nothing, they're just going to keep doing this stuff. But once your crops are contaminated with this stuff, it's game over, and there's not much you can do at that point. Now, on to this next story. I find this one, this is rather interesting. Obama's ordering a full review of what they're saying is Russian interference with the elections. Now, we all know that throughout the elections, they kept constantly trying to, well, they always try to prop up Russia and say, you know, that they're the bad guy for this, for that. They're hacking this, they're doing that. But Obama says he orders this full review. But at the same time, all of a sudden, the story's breaking that in Georgia, DHS of all people, not Russia, DHS was the ones hacking the system. Imagine that.
And for what purpose?
You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, once you know that one of them's got their tentacles in there, especially during election time, anybody's in there. The fact that anybody's in there should throw up red flags and show you that it's not secure. And they can hack into anything and everything. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, why?
Yeah, they tell you that DHS is in there, that they opened the door, but they're not telling you why they were in there and how secure that open door was, right?
You know, I wonder exactly who caught them. You know what I'm saying? How, if it was a program or somebody themselves. I mean,
yeah, other governments or other government agencies.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, because it was DHS that was given the authority to monitor and supervise all the election systems, right? So that would mean right there that they would have to open the doors for the systems via where? You know, did they monitor it all from one central location, or did they send people individually to every single area? That would sound like a lot of people to be mobilizing.
Right. You know, what's interesting is he's saying a full review, but he's wanting all this done before he leaves office. Which, if it's a full review and if you're looking into hacking and you find out the DHS, I mean, is he going to look into that too? What was DHS doing in there? You know, are we going to get an explanation for that from him? No, because it was his DHS that was in there doing it.
Right. It's like almost as if they put it there as just to, for what though? I get it, man. What for? Why? Why would they even say it if they're not going to?
There's so many planting of the seeds and jerking of the chain these days.
I mean, who is in DHS right now that is clearly that showed support for like Donald Trump? Is anybody being promoted upwards? That Trump has talked about being within, you know, putting into his cabinet or any of that stuff that's already currently there. It's like, we know it's not Jay Johnson, but that could be the, you know, there could be the wink soon where the guy comes out that was already a DHS guy and then Trump promotes him to some high cabinet position. And then, you know, since they planted the seed that it was within DHS already, it's like, boom, guess what? John Doe, Trump's new cabinet member, was the guy who was shown to, it was his security clearance that was, you know, yeah. I mean, that's all theoretical, but that's, since they're giving us nothing to work with, we have nothing to begin with.
Right. He places these people in these high cabinet positions. And what I noticed with that executive order the other day, and here we got another one today. This time dealing with the North Bering Sea, the Arctic, and control of it is what it boils down to. But in it, just like the other one, it has a list of positions. And they created a task force now to go up and enforce this in the North Bering Sea. So just like they created a task force on this council on invasive species and everything else, they're creating these councils. But they create a list, or he created a list in each one. Just go down here and pull this one up. It says that the membership of this task force shall include, in addition to the co-chairs, designated senior level representatives from, and this is where it starts to tear them off, the Department of State, the Department of Defense, the Department of Transportation. You see what I'm saying? And he fills all this with the people that he feels or picks and wants to put in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he's filling those positions, and by law, he's only listing a handful of them here. Another one is the environment with the EPA, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Arctic Research Commission, and the National Science Foundation, and such agencies like that. So you've got those that little handful, and that's all that can be a part of this council. So, I mean, it's no other people from the government, from any other seat, branch, house, anything can fill these positions unless, or be a part of this unless they're in those spots, which he appoints. But like you said, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what all Trump does, who all he picks.
He's still, I mean, you've seen today, Rudy decided to withdraw himself from consideration of Secretary of State, which I thought that was really strange, because I kept saying, where are all these people that were on the campaign trail? Every single time we've seen this guy in the flesh, we went to so many of his events. These are the guys that marched on stage, and they're disappearing. Christie, Rudy.
Well, they're all mafia with the
right. I get that, but now they're disappearing.
I see what you're saying there.
They were his prostitutes. Those were the whores that everybody loved to grab. And now
that's a nice way to put it.
What about Carson? Didn't he just put Carson on his team?
He did put Carson on his team, but I think that was probably the payoff for Carson to step down. See, Rudy was never involved. Christie got his ass handed to him because he's a moron. You know, and then I don't even know why he was a talking head on the campaign trail. I mean, I think actually he was introduced to the road after he, like, I don't know, because he's an idiot. And as soon as Rudy signed on, they got rid of Christie. But those are all the people that the general pop loved.
Well, I'm thinking maybe he's trying to steer clear of that or something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Guys that may be known to have been already connected to the establishment or something. Because look at the guys that run New York, Jersey. I mean,
I think the only one left to see what really happens with is going to be Sarah Palin. You know, there's rumors of her going to the Department of Veteran Affairs, but I believe
that'll happen. I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm just saying she's the last big name. Sheriff Clark, but there's rumors of him that he's going to take over a new department, and it's a super secret department. It's going to be that department that handles America's police services, right? No one's talking about that one yet until it's implemented. But as of right now, it's still hearsay. I can't say it's a fact because I don't know. You know, but there's rumor of Sheriff Clark. He's going to be the guy that's going to be in charge of this new America's Police Task, or, you know, the police force of America, where he organizes with all the local PD to kind of follow his thing, which I don't 100% disagree with most of the bullshit that Sheriff Clark spits out. I kind of like it. I'm an American. He wears a fucking cool hat. Sorry about my language.
You're kicked out. You're in timeout. 15 seconds.
I gotta admit, I like the hat too, though.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it might even be plastic because it stays like so perfectly cowboy that it might not even be a real cowboy hat. It might be a toy.
I don't like how it doesn't share, like here in the Google Hangout when I try to share, it doesn't show it on YouTube full screen. I hate that.
What is it doing?
It got a bunch of black on each side, you know, just it doesn't show it full screen.
I wonder why it's doing that.
That's new.
It always does it to me.
Oh, you're using a split screen tab though, right? You got your tab split halfway down?
Yeah.
That's why then.
Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do to multitask. I mean, it looks fine in my opinion.
Okay,
I have it brought up on my computer, and I'm looking at it in not even in widescreen or theatrics, and it looks just fine. It really truly does.
All right, well, you guys can find links once again in the description box, especially here on this executive order. It's important that you read through these. I can't stress it enough. I mean, if you really want to know what's going on, like when I was reading through that one on invasive species, when I hit the alien species part ticker taped in there just one time, it was a change that wasn't in there before that was something to pay attention to. You know, it's little details like that because he's just popping off these executive orders left and right before he dips out. And this latest one is talking about the North Pole, the Bering Sea, the whole Arctic region, which we only have 2 icebreakers. Russia has over a couple dozen. And they've been talking all this stuff, this and that. Now they got a task force to go up here. We'll see what comes to that. If you guys missed it, on my channel here before we went live, the last video that I put out was one in regards to FEMA. And it's very important because they just out of nowhere come out and say, look, here's a bunch of money we're going to give some people if they want to protect themselves for a complex, coordinated terror attack. They don't list the people that have been awarded this. They don't list how they got the 35 million or where, you know, that magic number came from. They just have 35 million all of a sudden. For all we know, people could already be lined up to get the money. And it's very, very odd that they just come out of nowhere doing that with no other information.
Hey, D.
Yeah.
I just want to, can I turn on my camera really quick? I want to show you something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to do this now before any actual street names come up because I don't want everybody seeing where I live. What do you see? Okay, we are live down here in Cleveland. This snow came out of nowhere. It's snowing pretty good out here.
Oh, we were just talking about the no snow.
Wow.
Well, It wasn't snowing until I can't even see the road.
Yeah, you just got hit
Well,
with
I
that lake
tell you,
effect.
throughout this next week, areas are going to start to get hit with the snow. Definitely the weather. We're in winter. I know just around here they're calling for next week every day 1 to 3, then 3 to 5, 1 to 3. You know, and like that. So, yeah, it's here.
Hey, Eric, dude, that is a fantastic picture, by the way.
Is it?
I mean, it's coming through really clear on my end, at least. Wow, it looks nice. Watch out for sliding cars, dude. Stay away from the curb, man.
I am off the curb. I'm on the sidewalk. Can't make it out, can you?
Well, yeah, I can see where you're at. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, when those guys, careful.
Yeah, this literally just came out of nowhere within the past hour.
Yeah, it's
Don't bust your ass.
weather modification. I'm blaming this shit. It's Harp did it. They're like, oh, it's not cold enough.
And Eric is in Cleveland, Ohio.
That is correct.
And this isn't nothing like, I mean, they get dumped like bees talked before, but the lake effect snow that hit some of those areas on the eastern side, he said. I mean,
you
it,
guys,
it,
remember Buffalo 2 years ago, that Buffalo storm that came through and dumped like 12 feet in one night?
right.
It was like,
Do you guys see this? Like, it's like almost a whiteout.
yeah, we see it, man. Like I said, you got to
Like,
really.
I don't know how to get the camera, because how good the camera could pick it up, but you can barely see the street lights right up above.
Wipe the snow off your lens. There you go. All right.
Yeah. The time of year. Hope
That's
everybody's
right.
prepared out there, you know, for real. I mean, winter's its own animal.
That
You
is
gave me
it.
a great idea.
He's gonna get extra food.
Well, not just that, but since I'm now inside of Lake Effect Snow Capital, I could do random live streams in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yeah. And you can
Yeah.
go sled riding, make a snowman. Do you want to build a snowman?
As long as I
Wow.
can eat it afterwards.
Sure, as long as it's white. All
Yeah,
right.
that's just like.
All right, I'm gonna pull up this tax bracket here in regards to Trump and show you guys exactly what you can expect in taxes in terms of Trump and everything that's going to be changing.
You want to hit your mute button there, Eric?
I thought I just did.
All right.
All right, now you're muted. All right, and this is a look here at how it's going to affect everyone and how it's breaking down. Where it was here on the left, and where it's going to be under Trump on the right. And you have single and then married or joint over here on the right side. So you can see a big difference here is he's taken everything from like the 415 range, 430. Well, there really wasn't much of a difference there between 413 and 415 when you look at it, but they funneled everything from 40 down to 33. Then they also broke it right there at 112.5, where 112.5 and above hits 33. Anything below that will fall down into the 25% bracket. Below that, when you get to 37.5 or below, that's when you're in that 12% bracket for single file. But I just wanted to put this out there so people know. You hear about all the talk of changes, how it's going to impact people, what the plan is, this and that. I wanted to visually show people so they could see what to expect wherever you fall in this. You know, over here, you can check like I said, the married bracket as well, and see where you sit and what to expect. And it does look to be, like I said, breaking down those brackets and funneling it down into just the three. So if you notice here, you had the 40, 35, 33, 28, 25, 15, and 10. And he's now introduced 12 and is going with 25 and 33. So, and that's just for this part. I mean, if you want to get up into the millions and into the upper classes, there's different charts. They don't have that listed here.
Which I think percentage-wise, I think, you know, it's going to go down. You know, it's going to go way down, and that's the shock value that we get when somebody's making $65 million a year. I don't think it would be fair to say that he should be paying 20 million of that into taxes. So, you know, that's their percentage brackets will be, you know, way down there because of that. No, I don't like paying any taxes at all. I don't think we should pay shit.
Well, we've talked about it before. It's you work and you get taxed on everything you earn, right? And then you turn around, go to the store, and you pay another tax on everything you buy. So we're just being, you know, it's like a double tax.
I liked Rand Paul's plan. Do you remember when he introduced his plan? How simple it was.
Of
his federalized tax plan was eliminate all income tax completely and turn the tax into consumer based, where 1 cent, it was the 1 penny plan, where every single dollar you spent, you paid 1 penny on it through commerce. And that opened the door for every single person in the country shopping was paying their share of taxes. You know, I like that plan. I think I should take it.
To keep everything flowing, to keep everything going.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
And then,
but then they weren't reaping big profits though at the same time off of a plan like that. So it's probably why they dumped it.
And it would shut down 90% of the IRS, and it would shut down.
There you go.
It would.
You see that's why there would have to be a complete restructure of the system, and the powers that be there. I don't see that happen.
Yeah, no, they're not going to let that happen.
Establishment was like, sit down, Rand.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Speak when spoken to.
Right. They sent him a finger, one of his wife's fingers. So they're like, here.
Yeah, right there, yeah.
They're like, we'll send you a hand next time you open your mouth. And he's like, oh, shit, I'm going to withdraw my candidacy. I'm going to go back to being a senator and shooting guns. Bye.
The plan it has its perks. And, you know, there's been some things Rand said before that I've liked, but then again, there's been a lot of things, and I'm from Kentucky. I got to deal with it. You know, I
would rather have Rand than I got Tim Ryan. This guy. Wow. Go ahead.
No, but I just wanted to share this so people could visually see, you know, where the taxes are going to fall, and oh snap.
Yeah. My district congressman is Tim Ryan. This guy's kicked butt too, though. But Tim Ryan is people are going to know who he is real soon. He's the guy that challenged Pelosi for majority this year. and which was pretty brave of him. But he's got those extreme Bernie Sanders views, and
Well,
he's gaining steam.
Speaking of brave, this video clip I'm going to play here, it was, I forget her name. It's
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard. She just basically came out with a bomb and dropped it. It was like, look, we're not supporting ISIS. We shouldn't fund Al Qaeda and ISIS and all this other stuff. And basically, so many words is saying that our government is, and they're pushing this bill to stop it from happening anymore. And I mean, she just lays it out there. See if I can get it to play. I'll have to back it up.
For me or any American to provide any type of assistance to Al Qaeda, ISIS, or other terrorist group law. It is illegal for you or me or any American to provide any type of assistance to Al Qaeda, ISIS, or other terrorist groups. If we broke this law, we'd be thrown in jail. Yet the U.S. government's been violating this law for years, directly and indirectly supporting allies and partners of groups like Al Qaeda and ISIS with money, weapons, intelligence, and other support in their fight to overthrow the Syrian government. A recent New York Times article confirmed that rebel groups supported by the U.S., quote, have entered into battlefield alliances with the affiliate of Al Qaeda in Syria, formerly known as al-Nusra. The Wall Street Journal reports that rebel groups are, quote, doubling down on their alliance with Al Qaeda. This alliance has rendered the phrase moderate rebels meaningless. We must stop this madness. We must stop arming terrorists. I'm introducing the Stop Arming Terrorists Act today to prohibit taxpayer dollars from being used to support terrorists. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
All right. So you can see introduced and basically stepped up to the plate and said, look, y'all funding the terrorism, y'all creating it, and this bill is going to stop it. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting move.
If you'd noticed, that place was quite empty behind her and around it. You didn't see a whole lot of a round of applause or hear anything. It seemed Tulsi Gabbard's one of those reps that get to go in and say her stuff after everybody's gone. She's speaking to an empty house for the most part. I think I commend her for even putting it out there, using the words that she did, because anybody that was listening to her that didn't believe that ISIS was armed and funded by us, by your tax dollars, my tax dollars, in our country and the countries we deal with. Right. We've been talking about it since they showed up. They're like, hey, there's ISIS. And we're like, hey, there's Americans.
They wanted to call it conspiracy theory. It's always fake news. It's the same thing anymore. Yeah. Anytime they try to label something that, you should know there's something gold at the bottom of it.
Right. We should point out that Tulsi Gabbard was originally a Democrat. I believe she's still a Democrat. She's on the other side. So the other side of the political spectrum. She's not part of the new crew. You know what I'm saying? She's a Hawaiian, and I've seen her say some things, live before that were mostly on a weird liberal standpoint. But, I think she's one of those people that are on the fence and probably going to flip flop, and it might prove that she's going to where her campaign dollars come from, But that I like that she's talking about it. At least I think everybody should listen to that 2 or 3 times over and realize that she's saying that, formerly known as al-Nusra Front, moderate rebels, they're really the terrorists. She points out the terms that we use on the news and in the daily, our daily BS.
If we had more individuals doing that, saying that, we wouldn't be in such a bad position. If we had more people making a stand, period, we wouldn't be in such a bad position.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh shit,
we got watchers jumped in here with us.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Got my coffee ready to go.
That's what it was. I seen there. I was I'm glad you jumped in here, because right before we end this, and after the show here, guys, B and them are going to be running over on his channel. You guys can pick up over there if you guys want to stay watching a live stream. But I had tweeted out earlier talking about this Buzz Aldrin situation, and there was an image that was said to have been put out, and the watchers did a little bit of digging on all of it, and basically the image wasn't verified. And he sent me a clip showing that. Did you find anything else with that?
Well, the actual image of the mountains, I have not been able to find an image of that mountain range on Buzz Aldrin's feed. I'm not saying that picture does not exist.
Right.
I'm not saying that picture is a fake or anything.
But in it, he said that this was pure evil or something like that, didn't he?
But ultimately, what I'm saying is I'm actually looking at the at that screenshot that somebody had taken,
Right.
and when switching between Buzz Aldrin's actual Twitter page and looking at a tweet specifically from Buzz Aldrin, you will see the verified the verified Twitter user symbol right next to the name, and in this image, it doesn't show
It's
that
not
verified symbol.
It's
so
not there. Right.
so there's a very good possibility that this account was not actually the correct Buzz Aldrin.
Right. Fake.
And exactly, it could have been a fake Buzz Aldrin account, made to look exactly like his.
And, the timing, and I question some of the things that get put out there and how they do. And I wonder if it wasn't, because I'm about to show you guys some images of the real pyramid that's down there, that are the real shots. Okay, because there is one there, and
absolutely there is.
I think when they do story like this, and then it can so quickly be discredited. Like, you just went in and picked it apart. I didn't even have time to get to it. You done chopped it up, spit it out. Was like, look. I was like, all right, well, there you go. It busted the stat quick, but it wasn't meant to be. That way people see it, and then they see the image, or they see the story, and then they think they push the whole story off. Then you see what I'm saying? Is the whole thing in their mind was a fake. So the next time anything about Antarctica and the pyramid comes up, they're going to be like, oh, it was fake. I remember that once. It was a fake. It was a fake. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that does bad damage on people. And I'm going to say this much. The very first image I saw of this next to this Belgian station down there in Antarctica, I thought it was fake. I thought it was fake. And then I was like, all right, we're going to do a Google search. I started looking. I found Princess Edward. I found the station, and then my jaw dropped. And I seen them riding bikes around this thing, pointing at it all over the place. It's there. They know it's there. And it's out of all of Antarctica, it's the one spot they chose to put the little base right at the foot of it. And give me a second. I'll share the image. Get over the suspense. But yeah, that the Buzz Aldrin thing was catching some steam, and other people were talking about it, and that's what we got to do here. We got to put all cards on the table and get to the bottom of it. And that one was a fake. But
to elaborate a little bit more on what actually brought me to that conclusion is not only the verified symbols.
Look at that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, not only the verified symbols are not there next to Buzz Aldrin's name. Also, in the upper right-hand corner of the actual tweet, there's typically a follow or a follow tab. This one actually says follow in German, which is that's not a bad thing, but it also does not give you the option to translate the tweet down at the bottom of the text, which was a giant red flag to me, because it's somebody of another language, or who had set their Twitter account up for another language, didn't have the ability to translate it into the language that they wanted to read it in. So that led me to believe that the text above the image was typed in to the actual HTML of the of the page before the screenshot was even taken. And there was some other discrepancies that are in the background from this image compared to an actual image of the when you look at Buzz Aldrin's page, there's other things like underneath his bio, there's his big picture, but then there's another smaller picture of his avatar, and that doesn't show up on the Twitter page when you're looking at it. And at the below underneath his little tiny short bio, it's supposed to say location is Mars and Space Coast, Florida, and then that one doesn't even show up on his on that image. The BuzzAldrin.com does. His join date shows up, but the birth date does not show up on there. So there were certain things that stuck out in my mind that should have been in that image, but were not actually in that image.
Right. And no, that's not me speaking. That is watchers.
And also next to the follow button, there should be an actual like an icon of a person with a plus sign next to it, and that's not actually showing up inside that follow button either. So I mean, or the little gear. Now I can go and say that there's the possibility that image was taken without being or that screenshot was snapped without having a person actually logged into their account. Basically removing the gear icon from the image or from the page before the screenshot was taken. But there's definitely some doctoring to this that I can only explain as somebody went into the actual HTML file of that web page, altered it, and then took a screenshot.
A super tweak there for a second. And I was showing images here of the bass the whole time he was talking there. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Your audio super tweaked out.
Yeah, and I've actually been having some issues. When I tried getting in here, it was kept booting me out. So I think the internet here at the hotel is getting kind of wonky.
Well, yeah, this is a look, and all that information's key there when we're getting to the bottom of it, guys, and especially with the fake floating around out there. Don't let it take away from what's really going on. Let's not forget that Buzz was airlifted out of there. Let's not forget that John Kerry made a mysterious visit down here. Let's not forget that this is where one of the famous air battles went down. That was documented with the Nazi discs. And Antarctica is Antarctica. It's mysterious. It's one of those places, like I say, with the North Pole. It's surrounded by the militaries of the world. They say that they're on the verge of World War III, but yet Russia and the United States are hand in hand at the poles and even going to space.
It's the only place penguins are, right? Like naturally.
Yeah, and that's crazy because you would think in a north-south they're both cold. Why wouldn't they be in both?
Right, but we only have them down there.
Well,
right.
The North Pole, or in the North Pole, there's no actual landmass. It's all just frozen ice. South Pole at one point in time was actually a temperate climate, or Antarctica was actually a temperate climate.
Well, yeah, they said at one point it was jungle and everything else.
So if you believe in the theory of evolution, there could have been birds that when the landmass started moving down towards the South Pole, they evolved and gained the ability to survive harsh winters.
Right. Or even the pole shifting, right? Because that's what they're saying now, that the pole's shifting. And then
what's interesting is, did you guys see the story here? I think I got a link in the description box for this too, but I don't have it pulled up. They just found, it's like right out of Jurassic Park. You remember Jurassic Park? They found the amber, and then they found a mosquito, and they drilled in. They got they got a DNA of a dinosaur out of the mosquito. Well, they just found a pretty much mummified a tail of a cousin of a velociraptor.
That was the first thing I thought of when I saw that news article. I was like, oh my God, Jurassic Park.
It's
Right.
dude. Listen, guys. Come on.
What are the chances?
They went into it and they were like, "Yeah, everything's there, but we can't get any DNA." And I'm just like, "Bullshit! You're lying. You're lying. I know you are lying."
They said it was the tail was feathers, and if it was feathers, then
you could see it. They showed a picture of it.
Yeah,
you could see
clearly there's going to be DNA on the tip of the quill.
It was like a piece of the tail that was just chopped off. That's what's crazy. You were looking at a piece of a dinosaur, like the closest you would ever see it in real life. Is what's the craziest thing about that.
Well, and Russian scientists are actually in the process of bringing back and cloning the woolly mammoth.
Well, that's crazy
so
too.
They're already working in that realm of science for them to be able to bring this aspect into it. I mean, it's highly probable.
Well, all I'm saying is these SOBs recreating something like that, we're all smoked. You release something like that on anywhere, unsuspect, not even the Velociraptor, just the one they found, the cousin of it. It was feathered, but it would still do damage. It was smaller and feathered, but dude, I couldn't imagine having them things running around in packs, wild. I mean, the intelligence of some of them creatures too is just crazy.
I would make a pet. That video game. There's a video game right now called Ark Survival something, but that's what basically you have some futuristic technology and this and that, but you're back in the olden days and you like tame dinosaurs as your pets and you use them to your advantage. I would tame one.
I actually know exactly the game that you're talking about.
Reminds me of old Torque.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Torque.
Yeah, but in Torque, you just killed him.
Right.
You couldn't tame him and make him like a dog or a cat or a bird. Yeah.
Is your feed running? Are you already running on your channel?
Me? No. I mean, I have everything ready to go, but no.
I was going to hand it off and shut it down over here. It's going to...
Yeah. I'll be ready to rock and roll 10 minutes after you're done, so.
All right, so yeah, make sure you guys get over to B's channel if you guys want to tune into more live talk, and he'll have some unique things to talk about over there on his show, exclusive. And I want to thank everybody that showed up here tonight. It's that time of year. It's cold out there, man. Keep an eye out on the ones you love, the elderly, your pets. Think about them. I mean, it's harsh out there in some places. So
friends that gotta walk and get food in this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna drop a link in that chat there, guys, if you want to come over and hang out. And the chat's already open when this stream's over.
Go ahead and start migrating, guys. Get it opened up and fired up. Get ready to shut this one down. Next week, tune in to Casey's channel. I will try to update with tweets and throughout the week and videos on exactly what I want to say if you only knew, but I'm not sure if Into the Stars, if he's back live there, if he can. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's opened up again. Okay,
it's going to be on his channel, and I'm going to have some things going on, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it next week. Just to let y'all know straight up for next Friday, but we'll see. You never know. But just be safe out there, y'all. I can't thank some of y'all enough out there that has our back and is always sending us information and keeping it real. It's appreciated. So once again, shout outs to all you guys. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Dabu7 with some underground world news. This is December 9th, 2016. Much love, y'all.